And that's why I think that another Crusade could be justifiable in today's global climate.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Thoughts from the Round Table. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Pierce.
And today, we're going to be talking about Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade.
Did you guys get that cool segue we did?
Yeah, we're going to nibble on it for a little bit and see what happens.
You know, maybe we like it, maybe we don't. Maybe it's a little too much. Probably a little too much.
We're just workshopping.
You know, here at the Round Table Podcast,
Network.
No, we're not a network. Here at the Round Table Podcast, without a network, we like to throw around ideas. You know, we like to take a little idea that came in our heads, put it on a little podcast. No one listens, so it's really just for us. So, I mean, have you guys watched Indiana Jones?
Yeah, so this is our rewatch series on Indiana Jones. In case you guys forgot, we're rewatching all the Indiana Jones. We're going to do it to other movies too. We hope you're enjoying it. We are.
So without further ado, guys, please join us at the round table.
So I want to start this movie off. Since we've seen the original Indiana Jones trilogy, we finished them. I want to start off by giving a ranking. I'm a rankings slave. I'm a slave to the rankings. I like seeing things ranked. You know, this is the best, this is the worst. I'm like, huh, okay.
I'm aware of what a ranking is.
Not just saying in general, like, I love looking at ranked movies, what people think is the best, and then getting mad and be like, oh, idiots.
I like, you know, just looking at lists and, you know, you got numbers on
Listen,
those lists. Like,
you don't
3, 4.
Some people like lists.
Dude, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I do like
this
lists.
Podcast is over.
No, do not. All right, guys. So it's just gonna be me today on the podcast.
No.
Put them in a list then.
Okay. Temple of Doom's number 1.
That's fair.
I think this one's number 2.
I really like this.
I like this one a lot. And the first one, weird enough, is number 3. That being said, I still like all of them.
All of these movies are just so stupid fun.
To rank trilogies. No, I'm just kidding. But this one has to be up there with some of the greatest trilogies of all time.
It's got to be like one of the most iconic.
Yeah, I would say right third.
What would be more iconic?
Like the top 3 would be the original Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah, of course.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah,
and then this one.
I would say that had to be like when I was a kid and I thought the big 3. It was always, well, I guess I should say it, like not trilogy wise because when I was a kid I was stupid, but I was like the big 3 franchises were like Star Wars, Harry Potter, Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
That's like what I thought was like the holy trilogy. But I don't know. I don't feel like Harry Potter deserves to be in their holy trilogy. That's a hot take opinion.
Yeah, the books definitely need, I mean,
true. The books are really way
good.
better.
They're really good. But like then you got to like there are a bunch of books that like Diary of a Wimpy Kid would be up there.
Dude, ranking books would be so hard.
Yeah, I think that's why I thought about that as a podcast idea, but then I was like, bro, like, I've read a lot of books, and I like a lot of them.
Books are weird, because it's hard to, like, rank books when you're, like, this stupid. Like, like, for us, movies are, like, easy, you know? You just look at it, and you're like, you can kind of see flaws in movies a lot more, but, like, diving into, like, literary themes and, like,
not great
talking about, like, oh, well, this character is more well-written, this dialogue's more believable. That's confusing.
I think it's because we've also, like, I don't know, I can't speak for you, but I can speak for me. I've seen way more movies than I have read books.
That's a weird thought. And almost I don't think it's true for me. I mean, so, I would say probably, when I was a kid, I read a ton. Dude.
Me too.
Like, I'm thinking in, like, sheer number, if you're not, probably in, like, big books, I've seen movies way more. And I've definitely watched more movies as in, like, I've rewatched movies. But I'm saying, like, if you're looking at a pure, like, if you, say let's take Lego Batman, for instance. And you watch Lego Batman once. I've watched that movie, like, 5 times. But I'm counting that as one thing.
Right, I think that's fair.
And then, I don't know, I read a ton of the Magic Treehouse books. Like, probably, how many are there?
A lot.
I've read almost all of them.
Okay, so like
when I was a kid.
Here's the thing: you might think when you were a kid, but then like it's true for me. I can't speak for you. My reading took a steep drop off in high school.
That's Super fair.
So, like, I probably watched 2 or 3 movies a week, but I read maybe 3 books a year.
Yeah, that's
3 books
actually
for fun a year.
And I mean, we still did watch a lot more movies than probably we remember. Almost.
Oh yeah. Well, especially like you sit down and watch a movie on TV that like I can't remember how many hours I've spent watching awful Netflix movies, you know?
Yeah. Wow.
This is crazy off topic.
This is the prime example of the content you're going to get. It's like we're going to title it one thing, and then we're going to talk about that for like a quarter of the podcast. So let's get into it. Let's talk about Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. To start this off, we watched this movie in 2 sittings, and I think it's going to show in this podcast because I almost barely remember the first bit.
I remember that he was a kid.
Yeah. Oh, so let's start with the plot summary.
Of course.
This movie starts as a little flashback, right? He's a kid. We get to see kind of his origins in his treasure hunter. He's like a Boy Scout. He finds the cross of something or other.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cross necklace.
Sure is.
It starts with his iconic line, "This belongs in a museum." I mean, that phrase is so. Don't know why. It's so synonymous with the Indiana Jones franchise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they should trademark it.
I guarantee they probably have. But then there's a train. He fights. Okay, so basically he stumbles upon what does he stumble upon? Like a gang?
Yeah.
And
a gaggle
of men, not geese. And they are stealing this cross, I guess, and he thinks it belongs in a museum, so he takes it from them. And then there's a whole chase scene, which, I mean, Indiana Jones is probably 70% chase scenes. And so
maybe more.
It starts out strong. There's a train. He falls in a snake pit. We see why he's so afraid of snakes. Well, pretty cool.
Okay, I have a quick interruption on pie charts. How do you feel about pie charts?
What in the hell?
Just listen. How do you feel about pie charts?
I mean, I guess I don't have strong feelings for or against.
So, if you were to make a pie chart of Indiana Jones scenes, I would make a circle, and then I would do 65% action / chase scenes.
Yeah.
30%, I'm just gonna call it sexual scenes. 5% racism.
True.
And when you get that, you get one of the most iconic trilogies of all time.
Little dash of racism, a little bit of sexual assault here and there, and then just a buttload of action to water that down and you forget about it.
Is there a more American trilogy?
No, there literally isn't. I said these when I did my rewatch of these personally, like a couple months ago. I think I told Jacob, and I was like, these might be the most violently American movies of all time. Because they bleed patriotism.
They do. Killing Nazis, making love to attractive women.
Not with their consent.
Child slaves.
That's really what America stands for. Well,
red, white, and blue, baby. Okay, we're off topic and we're canceled again.
But yeah, to get back kind of to the plot, the guy who is like stealing the cross, right? He's basically Indiana Jones's, what would you say, role model, inspiration, perhaps?
You could say that.
Like what made Indiana Jones Indiana Jones. And yeah, that basically sums up the first part of the movie. I mean, then it cuts to him finding that same guy later in life, and well, not the same dude, but the guy who took the cross from him as a kid, and fighting him and retrieving the cross, and then being sent to find the Holy Grail.
Monty Python. I apologize if I'm a little out of it today. I've been waking up early to go to work, and I'm tired as balls. Yeah, and then they go on the quest, and we meet quite possibly my second favorite character other than Indiana Jones in the entire series. Number 2, okay, so number 1 is Indiana Jones. I'm not counting that.
Back on the list thing.
Yeah, I love lists. 2 would be the tiny child slave. He's hilarious.
Where was he?
Who knows? I don't know. 3rd would be Henry Jones. Man, do I love this character. Is this like just an all-time heat check writing for the people at Lucasfilms?
I don't know if I'd call it that.
It's like one of the funniest characters. Definitely the funniest character they've written.
True.
Like,
he's hilarious.
He makes the movie.
There are so many good, like, Henry Jones scenes in this movie. Like, what was it when they were... This is way far ahead in the plot. Honestly, the plot... Let's just finish the plot before we do this, because I'm not going to spend any time on it. You're going to count me down 1 minute. I'm going to do the plot. Basically, here's what happens. They want to find the Holy Grail. Indiana Jones doesn't know where his dad is. He ends up meeting up with his dad. They find the Holy Grail. Boom. That's the movie.
Yeah.
Like, really, that's it.
Yeah.
But there are so many good, like, Henry Jones moments in that movie. Like, there was that one chase scene where they were getting shot at from the plane. And the plane, like, goes into a... What was it? Like a tunnel?
Yeah.
So they're in a car, right? And they're driving this thing, and a plane is chasing them. And the car goes through a tunnel, and the plane flies into the tunnel, gets its wings tore off, and then just rides back up right next to the car. And the pilot's just like, hey, what's up? And Henry's like, well, we couldn't have come any closer to that. And then you get like a bomb drops on him.
And like any scene with him where he's part of the action is 10 times better. Like my favorite one is he's like, I've always learned to sit down and good things, or whatever he says. He sits in the chair, leans back, boom, trapdoor.
We need to talk. So there's a lot I want to get to, but the reason I did the plot so fast is because I don't want to take this in any particular order. Because my brain is all over the place.
You're telling me.
So I think first we probably should talk about let's get the elephant out of the room here. Indiana Jones 100% sexually assaults a woman in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like before in the other two movies, they're like kind of scenes where you're like,
it's well,
kind of rapey.
Yeah. No doubt about it in this one.
She also kind of rapes him.
Yeah. The 90s, right?
Like, these scenes are so sexual.
Yeah.
Right? What's this movie rated? Is it PG?
Yeah.
Like, she's sucking on his ear.
So that scene, like, we talked about it when that scene was happening, but, like, to see it makes me laugh so hard, because it's like, in all the rom-coms, the couple will be making out, and then, they cut out of shot and make a thud on the ground, like they're getting ready to make love. And that happened in this, and I laughed out loud, because it makes me laugh.
Yeah. Like, the girl was, like, biting his ear, and then, I guess, like, that was such a sensual bite that Indiana Jones collapsed out of sheer pleasure onto the floor.
So before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I think we need to talk about Henry Jones some more.
Yeah.
He, when we meet him, he's in a castle in Germany. And truly one of the funniest scenes in the movie when we meet him, because they're trying to figure out a way out without the guards catching them. The guards come in, right? And he's like, he's like, we don't even have the diary. He's like, Dad. He's like, you're not stupid enough to bring it back here, are you? It's like, Dad. Oh my gosh. And then when we first, okay, I guess to backtrack a little bit, when we first meet him, he's like got this vase and it's broken, and then he tries to tell him about like how it cracked. It's a special way, and that's how you can tell it's real. And then Indiana Jones throws it across the room.
Oh, I really love Henry in this whole movie, and I really like that scene because of just how appalled he is that Indiana Jones shot the dudes. Like the guards come in, and it's the whole scene about them being stupid, and then Indiana Jones is like, "Don't call me Junior," and he grabs the gun and starts shooting the people, and Henry's just like looking at him, just like, "What the heck?" He's like, "You just killed those dudes."
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I don't know, that was like kind of one of those moments where you're like, as an outsider looking in on like Indiana Jones, the whole franchise, Indiana Jones, he kills so many people.
This is true.
Right? Like, he's got to have an all-time kill count.
I would be curious if someone would like go through and see how many people he killed.
Yeah.
Because I know there are people who do that on YouTube with like horror movies and stuff.
I bet there is someone.
There's gotta be.
There's gotta be something. I know in the 4th movie, they talk about how Indiana Jones is a war hero because he fought in World War II, which is like after all of these movies, you know, technically.
Yeah.
I want to see a movie like that, where like Indiana Jones is just a soldier, just laying waste single-handedly to a battlefield. All he has is his pistol and his whip, and he's storming like Omaha Beach.
Indiana Jones in this movie is like, he plays the guy's guy even more than usual, and his dad is the college professor. He doesn't really know what's going on half the time. He's very like spaced out. I just love him.
Yeah. They get taken to a room and interrogated in this movie, and then get left like, so they get tied to these 2 chairs back to back with big thick ropes. And it's like, looks like a scene straight out of a cartoon, really. And Indiana Jones pulls out a lighter and tells his dad to light the ropes on fire and burn the ropes through so they can escape. And of course, you know, he drops it. And I guess in the Indiana Jones universe, everything is like completely coated with
kerosene.
Kerosene.
Kerosene burns
all the time.
Yeah.
Because I've made a fire before. It's hard.
Yeah, it's not easy. And they just throw a lighter on the ground, and then the entire room is on fire.
The entire stone castle has caught on fire. Like, I don't think that's how fire works.
For someone who cares about history, it's kind of careless of you to burn down a castle.
Dude, okay, Indiana Jones caring about history is the biggest load of crap I've ever seen. What did he do? The first movie, he, like, destroyed the Anubis statue.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole wall. Like, he does not care about preserving history. He just cares... I don't even know. What does he care about?
What's his motive? I think it's making his dad happy.
Honestly, this movie, it definitely is.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good for this movie. Having his dad in this really grounds, like, Indiana Jones as a character, I feel like, almost.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is the most emotional we've ever seen Indiana Jones.
True.
Like, spoiler alert, when his dad gets shot, and he's sad, he's visibly sad, and now he's like, I gotta do stuff to help my dad.
Yeah. So speaking of when his dad got shot, basically this is like the culmination of the movie, and it's the finale, and once again I'm presented with the question I've asked in every one of these podcasts, and that is, how in the world is Indiana Jones still an atheist?
I don't know.
Right? Like, you know, I can almost excuse it. I can almost say, he opens up the Ark of the Covenant, right? And a bunch of ghosts come out. Maybe he's like, well, maybe it's not like God. Maybe it's just a bunch of spirits. I can almost see it. But, like, the cup of Christ heals his father. And he's like, no, don't believe it.
And kept that guy alive for, like, what, 800 years or something?
Yeah.
700 years?
You gotta start thinking to yourself, what is going on here?
I think he's thinking, I'm more of an agnostic. I don't really know what to believe. I don't know. It is a serious question that doesn't make any sense. Like, it's the biggest plot hole. Well, I shouldn't say that. There are huge plot holes in this movie. One of the biggest plot holes is that, like, he knows all this is real. But he's like, well, not too into it.
I just can't fathom it. I can't fathom how the writers didn't think of that themselves.
Yeah.
Especially when they talk about it in the movie. Like when he makes direct quotes in the movie how he's not a believer. And it's like, but dude, you were given legitimate hard proof. I think you could take Bill Maher and show him this, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna be a priest.
Yeah, I know that's been your problem with these movies, but the whole Force scene with his dad really threw it off for me. If you haven't seen this movie for a while, I'm gonna explain it to you. Indiana Jones is walking through the maze, essentially. You know, he's got a bunch of challenges he has to beat, a bunch of riddles. Yeah, his dad can communicate to him, but his dad's dying. And, you know, not there. He's a while away, and he's whispering. And Indiana Jones is like, I can hear you. I can hear you. I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's kind of just randomly thrown in there, too. Like, he's just whispering things as he's dying, and Indiana Jones is like, oh, Yahweh starts with an I. Or wasn't Yahweh, it was Jehovah.
Jehovah, yeah.
Jehovah starts with an I. Like, no way.
Yeah.
No way.
I don't know. What universe does this take place in?
The strangest universe ever. I think it's the universe where every god is real, and also the Force is also real.
What if this took place in, like, the Percy Jackson universe?
I mean...
Like, think of all the universes that we have. Like, we just need some random one.
No, I think, well...
What if it's a sequel to the Star Wars universe? Because, you know, the Star Wars universe is far, far away. Long time ago. And that's why there's the Force.
Maybe Henry Jones is a Jedi.
That would make sense.
Who knows? I like to think that it's a shared universe with National Treasure. I like to think that those are... Honestly, that would make sense, though, that those would be in the same universe.
It would.
Same kind of crap. Same kind of, like, unreasonable scenarios where they're just finding random you know? It's like...
That would be the catchphrase for this series. Finding random
Literally, though. Also, the trials in this were just stupid. It was like trying to think of a riddle to be clever, but the riddles were just dumb.
True.
The one that really sticks out to me, and if you've seen this movie, you've got to realize how stupid this scene is. It's the leap of faith. And he's presented with a ravine, in which Jacob, when we watched this movie a couple minutes ago, Jacob said something hilarious. He was like, oh man, I wonder if they find diamonds down there. Which was funny, but the whole point of it is like there's a bridge right across the ravine, but you can't see it because the bridge is painted like the wall of the ravine, so it's invisible. I'm sorry, no. What?
Stupid.
That's dumb.
I don't know. That whole... The most important part of this movie is the ending scene. Right? And they, like, have a couple parts where it just really throws you off.
Yeah.
The Force scene, the bridge, the guy being alive for 7... I don't care how long that thing gives you immunity. 700 years is a long time.
Especially since he is aging.
And then he, you know, dies. Right?
I love the ending scene with the knight. And it's just like that. He does that awkward wave that you give people when you're like driving by and you make eye contact with the other car and you like slightly lift your fingers up off the wheel and you're just like,
okay, so
that's exactly what that knight did.
Yeah, we got to go a little off topic here for a second.
Yeah.
So like, you know how there's just like brotherhood with motorcyclists,
mm-hmm.
and like they do the like finger guns, but they point it to the ground when they see each other. Have you seen this?
No.
What? You're behind a motorcycle. And they see another motorcyclist, and they like go like that, and then they like the other motorcyclist going this way does it too, because they're part of this brotherhood.
Really?
Jeep people have it too. You see a Jeep, you wave at them because you're part of the Jeep brotherhood.
Yeah.
I think we need to start one.
For what?
I don't know.
Start a brotherhood?
Yeah.
So, this is gonna be way off topic, but I remember so back in high school when me and our friend Nathaniel, who you've seen on this podcast before in the Diary of an Wimpy Kid episode, wanted to start a gang, but like an opposite gang, like a gang of scholars called Wolfgang. Were you party to Wolfgang?
No.
So we would look at each other in class and we'd put up our fingers in this W formation like this, and you can see like in our, so if you're looking at us in the camera, right, in this little like triangle section, it kind of looks like a wolf's head going upwards and the ears back, and we would go "Howl!" and I'd be Wolfgang. And we didn't really go too like far into it. It was just kind of like our brotherhood. We just flash each other, oh, you know, the Wolf Brotherhood. So I mean, we could bring that back. It's a cool
I'm
symbol.
interested. I think that if we do have a brotherhood, though, we need to get hats. They have red hats in this movie. The little fezzes.
Yeah,
They are fire.
I'm gonna say hot take alert. Load the hot take cannon. By the way, we need a sound effect for like a hot take cannon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
put
we
in here?
say it like
'Cause
3 or 4 times a podcast.
We have hot takes all the time. Hot take cannon, load me up, baby. If a cult had a cool dress code, I'd join. You know what I mean? Cults kind of bad, mostly, right?
Sure.
Unless you get a fun cult.
I'm
No,
sorry.
not
Oh my
more.
gosh.
Jacob, not. But okay, so there's like a ton of like kind of quirky cults.
Sure.
I'd be totally fine joining like a quirky cult.
Do you remember like a few years ago there was like the religion of the spaghetti monster thing?
Yeah.
Like I'd be interested.
You know, if someone asked me.
Shoot me an email newsletter.
And just like have like a weird like robe system, and you just meet up in someone's dude's like basement and play Dungeons and Dragons, and you just call yourself a cult.
So you can get tax write-offs. Maybe we should start this to get tax write-offs.
Dude.
This whole plan is for us to do tax evasion.
Yeah. So it's gonna be our religion.
So as we mentioned before, Henry Jones is our favorite character. You know, by a lot in this movie. You know, he's outstanding. So we're gonna talk about our favorite Henry Jones quotes.
He's got a lot of really quotable moments because he's such a nerd, I guess. I shouldn't say nerd. He reminds me a lot of Nathaniel.
He is a dork.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite moments is when he's trying to shoo the birds up to fight the plane for him. So he takes his umbrella and he's like, "Caw-caw, caw-caw, caw-caw," and the birds all fly up and they destroy this plane and get all up in it, and the plane crashes and explodes. And then he talks about, he's like, my favorite, what's the guy?
Some quote from a guy.
Some quote from a guy, and he's like, "Let the birds be my army."
Yeah, that
fantastic.
whole scene, like that whole sequence of scenes when they like stole the car.
Uh-huh.
They just got out of the plane. And then have we talked about the plane? I don't think so.
No.
Because that would be my favorite moment. When he's like manning the machine gun and Indy's like 11 o'clock. And then he looks at his pocket watch. He's like, well, what happens at 11? And he's like, no, the direction. And then he does it, and he's trying to shoot, and then he shoots his own plane down.
And then Indiana Jones is like, "Are we hit?"
Yeah.
And he just looks at him. He's like, "I regret to inform you, they got us."
Yeah, that's such a funny scene. Like, I don't know, him and that whole 15-minute sequence. I think it's like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
They're like getting the plane, they crash it, they steal the car, and then they wreck the car nearly twice, and then they almost die again from the plane, and he shoots them off. That whole sequence is like probably my favorite in the entire movie.
Yeah. The movie's absurd.
It's
like all Indiana Jones. It's just absurd. Like, I would say from the moment where there's the secret door in the castle to they go and they have the chase with the motorcycles, and then they get to the blimp and he tosses that one guy off the blimp. It's just like, what is going on?
Yeah, and he's he's talking about, he's like, no ticket. And then people like throw their tickets in the air because they like still believe him. I don't know. That was such a weird scene.
So like we did in like we did in a lot of these rewatch series, or all of the rewatch series, we're gonna talk about if this movie aged well or if it did not age well. In my opinion, I think this movie aged probably the best out of all of them. There was that one questionable scene where he raped the girl. There was that, and I mean that is definitely a black eye, right? You can't get past it. But out of like all of the other movies, in terms of effects, in terms of story, in terms of dialogue, in terms of everything that makes a movie good, besides rape, I would say that this is pretty much aged phenomenally.
Yeah, I agree. This one has by far aged the best. Like Pierce said, other than the kind of rapey scene, no way around that. But the action has like aged way better than the others. There's like almost no CGI. The whole dead body where he like drinks the wrong cup and then turns into the dead body, even that like hasn't aged that awful.
Yeah.
Like it just looks like a low budget movie.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't know. This one has aged better than the other ones, but I'm gonna say it aged well. It's still super entertaining. All of them are still super entertaining, right? But this one is hilarious. This one is the funniest. It's not the best, though.
Yeah, I think Temple of Doom is the best just because of how absurd it is. It's like nothing will ever top the absurdity. And I think really what could have pushed this movie over the edge and made it better is the addition of Shorty.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
was Shorty in this movie?
Oh, yeah.
I miss him. I wanted him like when the German lady was seducing him and like calling him like Indiana. I wanted the little boy to swim out from under the sewer when they were in there and just be like, call him Dr. Jones.
And then he drop kicks her.
Yeah, because the little boy turned into kind of a badass.
Yeah, if he's not in Indiana Jones 5, I won't see it.
They have to bring him back, right?
He's probably one of the most iconic characters from the Indiana Jones series.
Imagine, okay, so you know Shia LaBeouf is his son.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine Shia LaBeouf meets Shorty, and they fight for their dad's affection.
What if they're lovers?
Oh boy! Excuse me while I take off my hat. For those of you audio listeners, you must be feeling pretty lucky.
Yeah, I think that he has to be in 5. Like, just make 5 what Star Wars 7 was. Just a trip down memory lane.
Just a retelling.
Of, like, Temple of Doom or something.
Oh, that's hilarious. If it's just an homage to Temple of Doom. And it's just the same movie with updated graphics. And
somewhat different characters.
Maybe they're flying above India again, and they crash out of the sky, and instead of that old man coming out to see them, it's just Shorty riding his elephant, and he's like, Dr. Jones!
That would be perfect. I'd go see that movie like 3 times in
I'd
theaters.
lose it.
It would be so good.
Alright, guys, we're gonna cut this one short. This is probably not going to be a long podcast. We actually have no idea how long this is going to be.
Yeah, shocking how much we got off. Not only how much we got off topic, but how much dead space there is.
Yeah, we're, I think, both a little out of it right now.
Yeah.
And so this probably isn't our best. I don't think it's our worst.
No, I think this is way better than Birds of Prey.
True.
At least we're entertaining in this one.
Listen, guys, whenever we feel bad about ourselves, we can always remind us that at least it's not Birds of Prey.
Like, looking back, I can't believe we put that out and thought, hey, this is good.
Yeah. Especially, like, how did that get the most views?
Come on, people.
Come on, guys. If you're on this and you're like watching, one of like the 5 people watching, please just, I don't know, watch 200 more times.
Share it with your friends. They'll love it.
They will definitely listen to it, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? You know what? Nothing can hurt.
No.
So with that, guys, our link tree's in the description. You know the drill. Subscribe on YouTube. listen to us on podcast apps, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, tweet us out, ask us some questions. We'll maybe answer them in the next episode of Chats.
Thank you so much for listening, and we can't wait to see you for the next rewatch.
Goodbye.